Would you like to know more? Welcome to War Master Podcast, Adventures in 3D Printing, another episode. I think it's about 44 or something. I'm going to have to stop saying the number soon because it's just really going to become meaningless, isn't it? It's just number something. So today we're going to be looking at some Ankylo, Magma Dwarves, Chaos Dwarves to us who aren't in the game. So what have we got here? I think these are Hobgoblins. I printed off the 6 stands of Hobgoblins. They come pre-supported. I'm printing, what am I using? Elegoo, ABS-like in grey, not undercoating or anything. So it might be a little bit harder to see some detail, but it's certainly a lot easier for me to get stuff printed up and on camera. So look at this guy hidden behind a mask here. What's he? I can't remember. It's like Danger Mouse or something, isn't it? I don't know why I'm thinking of Danger Mouse. He's some vampire, isn't he? Behind his cloak. Maybe he's just hiding his face so they don't see me. But I think he's got a. Is that a whip? Or no, it's just a curved dagger. And we have a guy here with an axe. Some guy here blowing his trumpet. That's kind of the curved daggers, the kind of motif going through the shields. I'll have a look at the back here. So, as always, there's some supports that I haven't got out. There's one here, there's one here, there's one down here. I can't remember. It's been about 10 days since I printed. It's been a 10-day if you do your D&D. Since I printed them out, so I can't remember 100% how many supports are on there. But as with all these things, there's always going to be some level of support you don't get off. It's just how much you're willing to put up with. Kind of like the texture on that cloak there. That's very good. Okay, let's have a look at some of the other ones. We've got 12 strips to look at today. I think these cleaned up relatively well. No breakages. He's got like a. I guess that's a knobbly club, isn't it? Looks like a kind of a prickly cucumber. He's got an axe there, maybe. See, if you look here. Now, I'm trying not to be critical because this isn't critical. I am not being critical in any way, shape, or form because I have absolutely no talent. So anybody who can do anything is artistic-wise, I am in complete awe of. But when people talk about, and I think it's Gary that was always asking me, how would these look in 28mm and can you print these at 28mm, etc. Now, these are provided, supported and unsupported on strips, and I think that's provided as singles as well, but maybe not supported. If you look at the thickness of this axe head, can we get it in shot? So the axe head is probably 1mm thick. And if you scale that up, that axe head is going to look like 0.5 centimetre thick maybe, or 3 or 4mm thick. And an axe head wouldn't be any thicker at 28mm than probably 1mm. 28mm than 1mm. So that axe head, the proportions, and also the things like the kind of shafts of the axes and people's hands and stuff, that when you blow them up to 28mm, it kind of exposes the fact that at 10mm you've got to kind of make things bigger than they would be in real life. Because if this was as thin as it would be, it would maybe not even print, and if it would print, it would have absolutely no resilience to it. It would just like break the first time you looked at it because everything would be so thin. So yes, you can print 10mm stuff up at 28mm, but the likelihood is the weapons and stuff will be way too big and thick. And if you did the reverse and you tried to print 28mm at 10mm, everything would be too delicate and brittle. So yes, as I was saying, yes, you can print at different scales, but you probably shouldn't. That's the best way I can say it. Okay, next thought. So we can go through these relatively quickly now. So we've got some. These are quite funky. If I was being hypercritical, and I try not to do this, although I have spoken to the gentleman behind these miniatures, and he has asked me to be as honest as I can because I think he's struggling to get feedback apart from do more, produce more stuff, you know what I mean? People just say, oh, do everything yesterday. So apart from that kind of feedback, he's struggling to get actual feedback on his work. And if anything, I'm going to talk about in this video and the next video, so things are looking a little bit static, especially these two fellas here next to each other, because I don't know how difficult it is to kind of, they almost look like the same miniature, kind of a slightly different face, slightly obviously different weapons or weapon positioning. But yeah, I don't know how difficult it is to get dynamics in. When you're sculpting old school green stuff, you do use dollies, so there is a little bit of consistency in sizing and if you're using the same kind of torsos and stuff and like armor and stuff. But every miniature is different by default because you're making them different from scratch. So here you're kind of duplicating miniatures across different strips and you're just trying to reposition them. But yeah, kind of like the kind of symmetry of the shoulders. If just one shoulder was up and the other shoulder was down slightly on these kind of guys that have stood face on, yeah, that would probably help things. But I don't know how difficult that is to do, and I don't know what software he's using, so I might just be asking for the moon. I try my best to give us to be as honest as I can and say what I see. Okay, good stuff. We've got a couple more strips. So we'll just talk about these last two strips. Oh, I thought that was a broken bow, but it's not. It's a knife. And the final one here, and then we'll get on to the Black Orcs. Okie dokie. Now, the Black Orcs, I think they had quite a lot of support, and I did have some issues removing them. I have fed it back as requested in order for that particular support to be sorted out. But I'll talk about it when we get to it. So I think what, and again, I'm no expert on creating supports, but there seemed to be layers of supports. It was like unwrapping an onion a little bit. So you had to make sure you cleared out the external layer of supports first before you could get into the internal supports. I think I maybe snapped this guy's horn off here, but that kind of looks all right. I mean, nobody fights without getting any damage, do they? I mean, he's just lost a bit of horn. Maybe he snapped it off to drink out of. Like this drum here, that's a big drum, isn't it? It's like a turtle shell. And we've got, I don't know what kind of a skull that is. This is the command strip. We've got a cleaver though, I like that meat cleaver. Some big two-handed axes. So these are obviously a little bit bigger than your, let's put them next to it, because I know these are 10mm on the side here. So you are looking at probably, what are we saying, about 12, 13mm for the Black Orcs. And then we have this strip here. I'll try and point out if I could show these. See, these ones here, I'll probably go in and clip those out on the axe. I think we've lost a piece of this one here. But I mean, when you see the stands ranked up, you really don't notice the odd broken weapon. Just play high elves with the GW ones if you want to know what that feels like. You have the odd broken weapon, you can't really notice. It's only when you start having a whole unit of broken weapons. I like this chainmail. That's good stuff. Okay. Oh, this was the one. So we had a support that came from here and kind of went through the handle of this axe. And me trying to clip the support out of the axe handle meant that I broke the tip of the axe off. So I think that support needs pulling up and away or reorientating out a different way or whatever to try and not go through the axe shaft. But I fed that back. And that was the only one that I didn't think I could do any better with. Because if I printed these out 6 times, towards the 5th and 6th time or whatever, I'd be removing the supports without issues because I know where to look for and where to go careful. But the first time you do it, you kind of, not that I'm a bull in a china shop, but you hopefully when you're doing things, you learn from your mistakes. So I like these. I like these. They seem maybe it's because they're kind of hugging up to each other. They don't seem as static. Okay. And then we've got 3 more stands. Right. Okay. And then 2 more to go. And then the final stand. So in the next video, I am going to be talking about some of the artillery pieces and some of the big flappy characters. They've got 2, haven't they? I'm going to have to look them up so I give you the correct names for them. Okay, so these are Dwarves. I think they're from, is it Gumroad and Ankylo Miniatures. Okay, I'll see you next time.